Hi, I'm Dr. Smith from the TMJ and Sleep Therapy Center of San Diego, and today I'm going to talk about the anti-inflammatory diet and the three basic categories of food you need to eat to be as healthy as possible. So in order to be as healthy as possible and to repair injured tissue, you really need the proper nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So the three categories of food you need to eat are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Proteins are necessary to build strong muscles. Carbohydrates are necessary to make energy. And fats are necessary to build cell walls and also to produce the myelin sheath that cover most nerves in order to have a healthy nervous system. Now, the first category, protein, you can get from eating beans or meat. Unfortunately, in this country, only about 3% of the population is a vegetarian, so most people get their protein from meat. If you're going to eat beans, you have to do a couple things to prepare them properly. One is to soak them for several hours, and the second is to cook them in a pressure cooker. This destroys the lectins, which are very inflammatory. Unfortunately, the meat that we're eating today is completely different than it was 100 or 200 years ago. So the meat today is produced with a lot of antibiotics, and they feed the animals both corn and grain, which are inflammatory. So the antibiotics in the meat gets into your system and it kills your good gut bacteria, which can make you unhealthy. The grain and the corn, which the animals eat, also gets into your system, and they are very inflammatory. So if you're going to eat meat, you need to eat as healthy as possible. So for red meat, you really need to eat organic, grass-fed, non-antibiotic raised meat. For fish, you really need to eat the fresh caught fish, not farmed. And for chicken, it should be organic and free range, non-antibiotic raised. Now the next category is carbohydrates. So in this country, unfortunately, most of our carbohydrates are gotten from processed food, which contain a lot of grain, corn, and sugar. All three of these are very inflammatory. So therefore, I really recommend you should get your carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables. Fruits contain a lot of sugar, so you really should treat this as a treat, sort of a dessert, and eat mainly vegetables. So the other reason you should eat fruits and vegetables is they contain a lot of fiber. And in this country, research has shown that only about 5% of people get the recommended minimum daily dose of fiber. Fiber is very important because it can feed your good gut bacteria. It can have you increase your bowel movements so that they're normal. It also lowers cholesterol, is anti-inflammatory, and also can help remove toxins from your body. And the last category is fat. And you really should get good, healthy fat from olives, avocado, nuts, and olive oil. Now, the problem with eating all nuts is that some of them are really not nuts, and they're also inflammatory. So the first nut is peanuts, and that's really not a nut, it's a legume, and it is inflammatory. The second popular nut is cashews, and they're also not a nut, they're really a seed, and they're also inflammatory. The problem with getting your fats from just doing olive oil is a lot of olive oil is not processed properly. And what they do is they process it by heating it and also using chemicals. And then they can actually water it down with rice. So you have to be very careful what type of olive oil you buy. So it really should be cold pressed, extra virgin olive oil. So basically, in this country, unfortunately, we eat a lot of processed food. So the less processed food you eat and the more natural food you eat, the healthier you could be. All right, thank you.